Hey everybody, Danny Martin here, thanks for joining us. This week I asked you the question, does having the correct tee height really make a difference to the distance you hit your driver? The answer is yes, and maybe no. But we're going to discuss that in this week's training. Before we do, if you're new to the channel and this is one of your first videos, consider subscribing. I release content like this every week to help you improve your game. So, does having the correct tee height make a difference to your driver? Before we discuss this, let's talk about what factors are needed, first of all, to launch that ball further. There's a big buzzword right now in the world of golf, which is if you want to hit it a long way, you want high launch and low spin. Question is, what couple of factors do you need to try and achieve that? Well, low spin, what we need to get low spin is about where the ball connects with the face. If you want to get the sweet spot and have that absolutely perfect spot to strike the golf ball, we need it just above center here. We don't want the ball anywhere near the bottom. If the ball hits the bottom of the club, it produces lots and lots of backspin and reduces the distance you hit the shot. So that's a spin factor. That's how you get low spin. High launch, well, we want to make sure that when we strike the golf ball, we strike it on the way up. So we're going to discuss how you go about striking the ball on the way up and how maybe you can start to strike the sweet spot just above center. Now, the question is, if I use, got 3 tees here. If I use a low tee, the likelihood is it's probably going to get me striking the ball too close to the bottom of the face. And if I use a higher tee, I'm more likely to start to get closer to the top part of the face. So the question is, which tee height would you benefit from? So we recommend, ideally, for the guys who are able to get both things working, if you're able to get a upward strike using a high tee, the chances of you getting high launch and low spin massively increase. So let's have a look at this in action. What I've done here, I've gone to my maximum tee height. The ball's forward in my stance, and my only goal here now is to simply drive that ball up in the air to max out this distance. Back here, let's max out that distance. Now, the problem is, and you may have found this, if you use a high tee, some of you out there may have found that actually when you use a high tee, you maybe sky it, the ball goes up in the air. And the reason being is your angle of attack coming into the golf ball is just too steep. So here's the problem. If you have a swing that is coming down into the golf ball here, i.e. is too steep, and you found that when you go to a higher tee, the ball just skies up in the air, then yes, it makes sense then that a low tee is the tee that you need to max out your distance with your current swing. So you'd basically go towards, let's say I've got the white one here, which is about 1 inch in height. And what we do is this one here, you can see, is very, very low. I'm going to come down on the golf ball here. I'm still going to hit it quite high in the face, which is okay. But the problem is I just won't get the launch. So I get low spin, but I don't get any launch. Having said all that, for you, it's probably the best one, because if you go for a higher tee, the ball can come off the top and it pops up in the air. So you will max out your distance with your current swing with a lower tee as opposed to a higher tee. Now, the question is, do you want to max out your potential? You may be maxing out your swing by going to a lower tee, but do you want to max out your potential? If you want to max out your potential, what we need to do is start to tweak our swings and move to a higher tee. And what we're going to do in a second, I'm going to grab a nice simple training aid to help you use a higher tee so that you too can get high launch and low spin to max out your distance. So for those of you who are struggling to use a high tee because you may be coming down a bit steep on it and therefore not maxing out really the distance you could be getting and the benefit of a higher tee, then this drill will really, really help. What I've done, I've put a head cover about 2.5 feet or 2 feet in front of the ball. And what I want you to do is I want you to start to practice swinging and allowing the head to come through, but miss the head cover on the way through. If you're coming down on the golf ball too much, you're going to start to strike that head cover, and that's going to get the wrong launch conditions to max out your distance. Also give it a helping hand with setup. Make sure the ball position is forward, make sure your handle is behind the ball, and make sure your head is behind the handle. And then we're going to make some swings where we swing down and we're going to go through and miss that head cover on the way through. Let's have a look at this. Backwards and forwards. So does the correct tee height make a real difference to your game? Yes, it does, if you have the correct launch conditions as well. So using a higher tee will help you hit it up in the high part of the face. As long as you've got the upward angle, you will start to max out your distance. If you don't want to change your swing and you are coming down steep on it, then actually a lower tee will be the better option. Otherwise, you'll be skying it. All right. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And if you feel some of your friends could benefit from understanding what correct tee height could help them hit longer drives, then please share it. But until next week, have a great golfing week.